In our brief existence in this universe, humanity has been able to uncover many facts about space. Astronomers have explored the moon and have gathered a huge amount of data regarding planets in our solar systems. This knowledge is rapidly growing and expanding as more research is conducted. Everyone finds something odd or remarkable every now and then. This list is dedicated to those that have been labeled as peculiar, astounding, and surprising. Take a look at these 10 remarkable discoveries made in space. These fascinating findings certainly challenge our perception of the universe we live in. Number 10. Art. The Voyager spacecraft was launched in the 1970s and it continues its journey through space. It has sent back pictures of Jupiter, Saturn, and an image where you can see us from 6 billion kilometers away. A tiny little blue dot in a vast amount of nothingness. What's even more interesting about Voyager is what was put onto it. A golden record was placed on the spacecraft with information about Earth contained on it. This record includes photos of Earth and people, recorded greeting from the President of the United States, coordinates to where exactly the Earth is located in the solar system, and drawings of a man and a woman. The disc also included a lot of music, including Mozart, Chuck Berry, and Blind Willie Johnson. The Blind Willie Johnson song is a particularly interesting choice as it's a very solemn and sad song. And Willie Johnson lived an incredibly hard and impoverished life, but now his sad modes can be heard throughout the universe. Number 9. Hypervelocity Stars. Everyone's heard of shooting stars. If you're lucky, you may have even seen one. They streak across the sky on a clear night and are incredibly breathtaking. Well, I have some bad news for you, and then I have some worse news. The bad news is those weren't actually shooting stars you saw. What you saw was an asteroid hitting the atmosphere of our planet and combusting. Though they're called shooting stars, they're not technically a star that's being catapulted through space. And the worst news is there is such a thing as a shooting star, but it's pretty terrifying. Scientists know that there are a lot of stars that travel in binary pairs, meaning that they spend their existence together. However, if these stars are situated around a black hole, which stars usually are, a pretty ridiculous thing can happen. If one star is sucked into the black hole, this can cause the other one to shoot off into space. Due to the loss of gravity, these stars can reach speeds of up to 10,000 kilometers or 6,000 miles per second and travel so fast that they become completely unable to slow down. That's nearly 4 times the speed of a pistol bullet. Let that sink in for a second. Shooting stars don't sound so magical now, do they? Number 8. The taste of raspberries and rum. Yes, we're starting as we mean to go on with this list. Scientists have sifted through reams and reams of signals sent back to us from near the center of our galaxy. The location they're most focused on is known as Sagittarius II, a large dust cloud that exists at the epicenter of the Milky Way. There, they found a large quantity of a material called ethyl formate. You may not have heard of this material, but it turns out this is the chemical that gives raspberries their taste and also rum its smell. The scientists were actually desperate to find amino acids, as it would help them in their search for exactly how life is created, but they were certainly not disappointed with their find. Dr. Belluch of Cornell University said that out of 50 molecules discovered in this survey, 2 of them had not been seen before. Just more proof that scientists are making groundbreaking discoveries every single day. So be careful if you find yourself out near Sagittarius II, you might become very drunk. Number 7. CFBDS IR21490403. We often think of planets as acting like the ones we know well in our solar system, as a controlled mass that is happily floating around the sun it's nearest to, with maybe a little moon floating around it as well. We think of planets as part of a larger structure like a solar system or a galaxy. However, this is not always the case, as the next strange thing in this list will prove. The not very casually named CFBDES IR21490403 is a free-floating planetary mass located near the constellation of Dorados. The team that discovered it initially believed it to be a part of the AB Dorados moving group, but this was then proved to be false, which means that this mass is not able to be classified as a planet. I can't help but feel bad for it, to be honest. Floating around space, not quite a planet, not quite a rock, doomed to a life of absolute solitude. Number 6. UFOs. Yes, I had to put some in this list. There are some sightings of UFOs in outer space that are too engaging to just be passed off as space debris. One of which comes to us from Russia and was filmed by Musa Madoff in 1991 at the Mir space station. Musa looks to be outside conducting some renovation or construction on the outside of the space station when a cylindrical shape, which can only be a few hundred feet away from him, seems to hover near the space station. Both Musa and a cameraman from the partner space station instantly spotted the thing as the sun shined off of it, causing it to flash. Musa actually went public with this sighting, disregarding any notion of it being a piece of space debris, and confirmed that it was indeed a UFO. Another interesting sighting of a UFO from space has been popularly referred to as the Black Knight satellite theory. The photo showing what looks to be some sort of spacecraft was taken in 1998 during the STS-88 mission. But conspiracy theorists claim to have dated its existence back to 1899 when Nikola Tesla conducted a series of radio experiments that picked up strange signals. A multitude of different instances are connected with the two, including a number of detections of crafts in outer space. Though most people believe these to be a load of unrelated stories tied together by conspiracy theorists, the picture taken in 1998 is definitely pretty haunting. Number 5. Galactic Cannibalism. Now, cannibalism is a concept that is strange enough when it's based on Earth. It refers to a species eating and consuming one of its own kind. What's just about the only thing that can top cannibalism on the weird scale? That would be galactic cannibalism. This occurs when two galaxies get too close. One of the two galaxies will suck the other one in using its gravitational force and distort the original galaxy. This results in one galaxy, usually the bigger one, in essence eating the other one. Want to know something even scarier? Scientists believe that our very own galaxy called the Milky Way was formed when we collided with another more ancient star system. This is because there are two distinct groups of stars in our galaxy. Ones that are young and part of a disk, and ones that are much older that form part of a halo shape. Even stranger, astronomers estimate that our galaxy will collide with another in the future. Give it another 4.5 billion years, and we think that the Andromeda galaxy will eventually merge with our own to create an elliptical galaxy, perhaps in the shape of a large disk. What's amazing about galactic cannibalism, as well, is that it can birth new stars, because when galactic clouds form together, they can create new stars. So it's not all absolutely terrifying. Number 4. Large Quasar Group. A quasar group is a collection of astronomical structures formed around supermassive black holes that are thought to be the largest objects in our known universe. The first ever quasar discovered was found back in 1982, but many have been found since then, including one hilariously known as the Huge Large Quasar Group. This particular one was found by Roger Close and his colleagues at the University of Lancashire in 2013. Another prominent quasar is the supermassive J0100 plus 2802. Scientists believe that this hyperluminous quasar group was formed only a billion years after the Big Bang, which startled them considering how close that is to the very beginning of our universe. Another large entity that has been troubling scientists has come to be known as the Eridanus supervoid. Why such a scary name? Well, because from what those that study it can gather, it's an entity that spans around 1.8 billion light-years and is filled with absolutely nothing. This was theorized after studying the cosmic microwave background, the radiation left after the Big Bang, and finding a massive gap around 3 billion light-years away from our Milky Way. Some believe it to be a black hole, and if this is true, then I'm pretty scared. Number 3. The Eye of Sauron. It turns out that the Dark Lord's symbol isn't much of a fantasy. There's a star in the constellation of Piscis Austrinus that looks just like it. Our eye's epicenter is known as Fomalhaut, which we know to be the 18th brightest star in the night sky. It is supposedly twice the size of our sun, which explains why we can see it so, but the real magic happens when Fomalhaut is observed under infrared light. We begin to see a huge ring of debris surrounding it, which could possibly be new planets that are forming with the stars their center. All in all, it's a pretty scary image. And guess what? The universe has given us a hand to go with this eye. Elephant, trunks of interstellar gas and dust near the Eagle Nebula were pictured by the Hubble telescope in 1990. The photo, which was named the #1 space photograph taken by Hubble, shows us what looks like a huge hand reaching up into the cosmos. It's actually composed of 32 different images, which gives you an idea of the pillar size. It's absolutely breathtaking that such beauty can exist at such gargantuan size. Number 2. The face on Mars. This incredibly famous picture was taken in 1976 by the Viking 1 spacecraft. As it was picturing what was known as the Sidonian Mesa on Mars, it captured a picture of what looked to be a humanoid face. This caused a lot of people to think that we had finally found life on Mars, but it was dismissed by scientists as a trigger of the light and shadow. Viking actually went back and photographed the same area, and lo and behold, the face was no longer there. But this isn't to say strange things don't happen on the red planet. Over the course of a few weeks, the Mars rover captured something interesting. In the first picture, we just see a pretty normal picture of Mars terrain, but in the second, there's something new in the frame. Many people have argued about what it might be, the simplest explanation being a rock that the rover kicked up, but it's still strange. And here's another strange formation found in space. This image of a crater formation on Mercury, which looks a bit too much like Mickey Mouse, doesn't it? Disney is definitely hiding something. Number 1 to 55 Cancri. 55 Cancri is a sun that is located 41 light-years away from our solar system in the constellation of Cancer. It has what was thought to have 4 other exoplanets orbit it, later found out to be 5. All sounds pretty normal, right? Well, the one planet we need to focus on is 55 Cancri e. It's about 2 times the size of our Earth. And scientists have said that at least a third of the planet's mass is made up of pure diamond. This is the first glimpse of a planet that has a completely different makeup to Earth, and it's pretty impressive. Though such worlds have been theorized before 55, Cancri e is the first ever diamond planet to be located. Which oddity from space did you think was the most interesting? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.